As I welcome you back from the break, just to remind you that investment in Zabo is very easy for you as an investor or someone who wants to grow your money. So Zabo, a platform by Alterx East Africa, says my money, my future. Now start to subscribers and follow the prompt. First of all, will be registration if you don't have an account already, and then register with your NIN, and in the next 24 hours you'll be ready to invest if at all you didn't have an account. For those with accounts, start 292 hash. Of course, you will select any preferred bond with investment of a minimum of 15,000 Uganda shillings. Your particular situations are going to be growing. Your money and your investments are going to be growing every other day that happens or that passes by. So these markets are opened at 8:15 a.m. and closed at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They are only closed during weekends and during public holidays. So grow your investment, and mainly with Zabo, a platform by Alterx East Africa, which says do something new. As Zabo, your money is your future. Okay, how about if we kickstart off this hour again with reminding you that, well, you can start your day with motivation and inspiration. Then first, let's have our business tip of the morning. The business tip says stick to the budget. Overspending can be the death of your business. In fact, according to a study conducted by the United States Bank, 82% of small businesses fall due to poor cash flow. And of course, this poor cash flow management is one of those costing the businesses. So according to this tip, when creating your budget and business plan, a tip is to overestimate expenses and underestimate the income. That way you'll never be stressed. You'll never be stretched too thin, and you'll always be prepared for unexpected costs that come your way. So stick to the budget. This is according to what this is telling us to do. So as you wake up in the morning and you're going to chase that money as high as possible, you remember that sticking to your budget is fundamental for the growth of your business. Sometimes we overuse different expenses to meet our different personal interests, and yet the business is still lacking, and that ideally overstretches the budget of the business and hits us differently, and at the end of the day the businesses will continue struggling because we do not have fixed budgets for them. We only have a budget that is both personal and for the business. So as you are starting your business week, please be reminded and be mindful of the fact that you have a budget for your business, and you should stick to that budget to ensure that things do go well for you and your business. So that is the business tip this morning. Let's have our business quote as well. Colin Powell, a U.S. statesman and retired 4-star general in the United States Army, says a dream does not become a reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work for you to achieve what you believe is a dream for you. Yes, Colin Powell says a dream does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work, and all this if you want to achieve something big. It does not become reality through magic. It is going to take you sweat, it is going to take you determination, it is going to take you some good hard work if you want to experience some of the things. So sometimes we wake up in the morning with all our vision straight. We believe that every other day is going to change drastically. But however, what are you doing to ensure that this is going to change? Because sometimes you realize opportunities are created by us. Most of them that find us on the way always find us prepared. So how you prepare yourself entirely says a lot about the dream that you want to achieve, because some things are not just going to bump into you like a free plate of food. You always have to put them by yourself on the table, or you have to prepare yourself for them, so that once they come, it does not look like it's an abrupt surprise. It means that you've been working hard tooth and nail to ensure that this happens, and these results will reap big for you. That is the business quote this morning, as we are getting into more of our business update today. And now, with our business update today, we are definitely going to be looking at what we consider value addition on coffee. Uganda's coffee exports, if I'm to give you just a simple breakdown, for the financial year 2021-2022 ended June 30th, hit 6.26 million bags despite drought, according to the Uganda Coffee Development Authority. Now, on the other hand, if you're to look at the exports for the 12th month, that totaled up to 6.26 million bags. That is a million bags of coffee that were exported. Now, that is worth $862.28 million US dollars compared to the 6.08 million bags that were worth 559.16 million the previous financial year of 2020 to 2021. So there was an increase due to some of the factors. The fact that now COVID had started to slow down as government had looked out for measures to control the spread of the virus at the time, and then the vaccination drive, of course, when you look at all that, and surely the lockdown had started being lifted sector per sector. This clearly contributes to the growth of the coffee exports as well. Now, this represented an increase of 3% and 54% in both quantity and value respectively. That is according to the Uganda Coffee Development Authority June coffee reports that were revealed at the end of the financial year 2021-2022, which ended June 30th. Now we're into the first quarter of the financial year 2022-2023, if you are to be reminded. Uganda's coffee exports for the month of June amounted to 530,665 60 kilo bags of coffee valued at 83.79 million US dollars. This comprised of 444,197 bags of Robusta, which is valued at 60.98 million US dollars. This comprised of the issue to do with 86,168 bags of Arabica, which is valued at 22.82 US dollars. This was a decrease of 14% in quantity, but also an increase of 43% in value compared to the same month last year. Now, farm gate prices for Robusta Chiboko averaged at 2,600 Ugandan shillings per kilo, and then also Arabica parchment amounted at 10,500 Ugandan shillings per kilo, and then Draga at 9,500 shillings per kilo. So Robusta exports accounted for 84% of total exports, higher than 77% in May 2022. Then by comparing quantity of coffee exported by type in the same month of last year, June 2021, Robusta decreased by 21.44% in quantity, but further increased by 21.37% in value. So Uganda Coffee Development Bank and Uganda Coffee Development Authority and the Private Sector Foundation this particular year did sign a memorandum of understanding, and this particular memorandum was more of a memorandum of cooperation. Yes, that was in July 2022 to ensure that Uganda Coffee Development Authority, the UCDA, works hand in hand with the private sector to increase Uganda's coffee exports and also to help farmers and other stakeholders in the value added, the coffee value addition. Then also to ensure that there is movement to promote Uganda's coffee in the international market, something that the Uganda Coffee Development Authority has been entirely doing for the last few years, and also to ensure that this particular sector of coffee grows back. Besides the fact that at the beginning of the year, after Uganda withdrew from the 2007 coffee agreement, most of the Ugandan coffee farmers and other stakeholders in the coffee sector, plus the private sector critics, were already hitting at the government for making a move that they believe wasn't right for Uganda's coffee. However, the government's decision looks to be one of the best this year as well, with the fact that the coffee volumes are growing and increasing, and we're yet to see more results by the end of the financial year 2022-2023 from Uganda's coffee sector. And as of August 2022, government chief whip did implore the North to embrace coffee to get out of economic slumber, because now it is now going to region to region to ensure that every region is actually inclusive into the battle for exporting Uganda's coffee and also increasing the level of export. So we would wish that at least, if at all, our exports hit this particular millions of dollars by $862.28 million. We hope that by next year we shall already have hit $1 billion in regards to exports of coffee, and also that is a big sign for the farmers. So in our update this morning, we are getting it from the Uganda Coffee Development Authority Managing Director Emmanuel Iyamuleme, who is actually giving us more of the incidents coming in from Uganda's coffee sector. But not only that, to look at the possible ways of how the farmers and other stakeholders can tap into Uganda's coffee industry, one, to increase our levels of exports, not only that, but to see that our coffee, or the quality of the coffee that we export, is top-notch and meets international standards, so that we can avail ourselves in the available markets that are out there. So we want to increase our levels of coffee production and also our levels of coffee exports to stabilize the economy as well, and also to ensure that Uganda's agricultural sector is steadily being looked at. Not only that, also on the other hand, we want to ensure that the quality of the coffee we export, and also the farmers are benefiting from the coffee that they grow and they harvest or cultivate. So on the other hand, now let's get more of this particular update from the Uganda Coffee Development Authority's Managing Director.
My name is Dr. Emmanuel Iyamuleme, Managing Director of Uganda Coffee Development Authority. The Uganda Coffee Development Authority is a government agency which is responsible for quality along the value chain. Our role is, our mandate is supporting research. We promote marketing of coffee. We control quality of the coffee to be exported. We also provide services, extension services to the farmers to improve their productivity. But also we support the whole value chain in value addition. Our role again is to support the farmers to increase their household incomes and to bring foreign exchange to the country. Uganda exports coffee all over the world. Our coffee's main market is Europe for historical reasons, but also because there's been much demand for coffee, Robusta coffee, especially in Italy, in Spain, and in Germany. But also our coffee goes to United States, especially Arabica coffee. And of recent, our fine Robustas are entering United States. We participate in all the promotions in those markets. In the United States, Specialty Coffee Association Expo. That exhibition takes place every April, and therefore our traders, our exporters, and the cooperatives, once they participate in, they get good markets. But of recent, we are getting Sudan, the biggest import of Ugandan coffee, second to Europe, and that makes our situation much better, because as Uganda has recently signed the African Continental Free Trade Area, our coffee will continue trading within Africa, and we hope more countries like Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria will also come on board, just as Sudan has joined recently. To access these markets, you have to meet the quality requirements. And like other products, coffee is traded because of its quality. And as a government, we have set up a quality monitoring laboratory, which is ISO certified. That means it is of the highest standard, and you can access any markets, any products which go there, can access any products. We train all the quality assurance officers which work for the private sector exporters. They are trained by UCDA. They have to meet the quality requirements, the standards. We go ahead to train them as two graders. Two graders are those quality assurance officers who are specialized in evaluating the quality of Arabica coffee. We also train the Arab graders, who are also the people who are specialized in grading or quality assurance of Robusta coffee. These are very specialized trainings that you go through 22 tests. So it's not that everybody can do it. But as a government, we have invested heavily in staff who can train the private sector, so that any coffee which has been handled through an export company is already of good quality, and we come in to do quality assurance. We continue to train the industry to make sure that they meet the market requirements. The other aspect is that we participate in all the coffee exhibitions. In January, there is an exhibition in Dubai, especially the Coffee of Association of United Arab Emirates. That's also a very good area for participation. So as a government, we normally bring this information to the private sector, or we participate physically by providing the exhibition space, by providing also the specialized staff who can do the cupping. Cupping is a way of evaluating the quality of coffee. And as an industry, as UCDA, we have developed that capacity where we can do the evaluation on behalf of our coffee exporters. In February, we normally have the AFCA. AFCA is an exhibition in Africa, a January coffee exhibition in Africa, and it rotates within 25 coffee producing countries. In February this next year, it will be in Kigali. But a few years ago, it was here in Uganda. Then previously, it was also in Kenya. Then there is also in airport, there is an exhibition in the United States. The last 2 years, it was in Boston. Next year in airport, it will be in Portland. We are partnering with Endiro Coffee, private sector foundation, to see how we can take more private sector players to participate in those markets. But as a government, we normally provide an exhibition space, which is usually very, very expensive and affordable by our local exporters. We also provide the cupping expertise. We also first evaluate all those samples before they are taken there to those markets for exhibition. So the role of UCDA in that regard is providing the market information, physically participating there, but also technically supporting the exporters in that regard. What we have done also in that regard is to see some of the exporters who would ordinarily not afford to participate in those markets. We are subsidizing them with the air tickets and accommodation, but at least they can be encouraged. But those, it comes with a disclaimer. We normally do the test of harvest. That means we assess the best coffees. We ask the farmers, cooperatives, exporters to bring their best coffees, which we assess. And once they are ranked the best, are the ones who are supported to go financially to go and access those markets. We will continue during that, because the more the exporters, our small SMEs interface with the roasters and retailers, the more they will negotiate for better price.
So you're gonna see, if you're to look at Uganda's coffee, pretty much a sign of looking at earlier on with our Karibu East Africa reports, we're looking at Rwanda's tea industry and how Rwanda's tea industry has been growing steadily, and pretty much a situation whereby we've got to realize that with the tea industry in Rwanda, mainly the level of exports have been increasing, reason being the quality and the type of flavors that they actually export out of the country, mainly to countries like Pakistan, have always been appealing to most of the countries. Now, Uganda's on the other side, if you look at our coffee, the quality of, for example, the Robusta coffee that we export out of the country clearly shows you how Uganda's coffee is one of those to look at across the East African region. And when you look at the Robusta coffee exports, did hit 84% last financial year. And that is why I would tell you we export more of Robusta than any other, than the Arabica and then the Draga. if you're to look at that. So our total exports did increase from 77% to 84%. That is for the Robusta coffee exports. Then on the other hand, Arabica coffee exports increased by 62.77% as well. Then Arabica did fetch an average price of 4.41 per kilo, and then that is $4.41 per kilo. And then that is, if you look at West Nile, they sold the highest price of Arabica coffee at 7.23 per kilo. That is by last financial year. Now, most of the regions that had more coffee from the Robusta situations, or they look at areas of Greater Masaka, southwestern regions of Uganda, whose peak only was expected to rise by July this year. Last year, they registered some decrease in there, which led to a shorter main harvest season in central and eastern regions as well. So 10 exporters out of 55 companies which performed during June exported around 74% of Uganda's coffee total revenue in that way. So Italy did maintain the highest share of the exports of Uganda's coffee, and followed by Germany. Italy's share of the Ugandan coffee exports was 40.245%, then followed by Germany, which imported close to 11.34%. Then we have Sudan importing 10.35%, and then India reporting at least 7.45% of the imports here. Then Morocco imported 4.82% of our coffee. Now, coffee exports to Africa amounted to 109,506 bags. That is a market share of 21% compared to 70,782 bags, or representing a 16% increase in there. That is of the month of May 2022. Now, the coffee exports for July grew to 600,000 bags. July, that was the first year of the first month of the first quarter of the financial year 2022-2023 that we are currently into. We are already halfway the first quarter. By next year we shall be into the second quarter of the financial year 2022-2023. So among us all those things, you get to realize that coffee is one of the key aspects of Uganda's agricultural sector that is growing steadily. For the stakeholders in there, most of the people are into packaging of coffee. There are those who are into processing. If we are to look at value addition on Uganda's coffee, then we also have those who are actually into selling of ready to drink coffee. That is from different restaurants within the country, and those are quite many lately, as Ugandans have now started appreciating the quality of the coffee being sold into Uganda. Even when you go to the Uganda Coffee Development Authority offices, headquarters here in Kampala, the first thing that they will actually give you is at least to test a cup of coffee that is manufactured here in Uganda. Coffee locally harvested, locally cultivated, coffee that is locally processed within the country. Quite a number of private sector players also in Uganda's coffee value addition chain. That is more of where you can see that the sector is growing steadily. So agriculture being the backbone of our economy, then you look at the key elements in there, and then you will identify that coffee always is one of those to look at, or taking center stage forwardly. And of course, with that particular update, we do take a break. When I do return, I do have what is making headlines from the world of sports. We will be looking at sports business, then later on as well, Marita Andrew will be giving you the latest from the world of entertainment with the entertainment economics. Stick around to Smart Mains Business. We've only got 25 minutes past the hour of 8 a.m. and when we do return, we shall be driving your business away from there.